Hey everybody, we have Gene here, who is a student of Major League Profits, and he's been crushing by something we recently introduced into the program, and it's called sports betting arbitrage. I'll let Gene talk about it, but basically, what we do in a nutshell is we remove the risk out of sports betting and just take advantage of bonuses and discrepancies in lines. And it's a really cool, unique, easy way to make money. And Gene is here to tell you how much money he's made and what he's been doing. But Gene, introduce yourself. Where you're from, what do you know about sports cards, sports betting. Give the rundown to the audience.
Yeah, so I'm Gene. I'm 39 years old. Just joined the program maybe like 5 or 6 weeks ago. I'm in California, Southern California, so it's really expensive out here. And when I joined the program, Eric told me about the sports arbitraging and stuff, and I'm like most of us, we're all degenerates. So
Yeah,
um, I've been doing the sports betting for a little bit. I've been gambling and stuff, and before it was gambling. This isn't really gambling. It's just utilizing the lines against each other, the discrepancies, and just taking advantages of the bonuses, really. Um, I've made about like 8 grand since starting. Took me a little bit to ramp up, but like once I grasped the concept of it and talked to Chad about it and understood and started seeing the money come in, I was like, oh, it's easy. It's actually easy. It's not rocket science, right? So
not rocket science.
yeah.
Cool. Well, explain to me this. So you're up 8 grand, like 5 to 6 weeks. Explain to me, like I've never sports gambled before. Like, I don't even know what a bonus is. Like, what is it? Like, how have you been making the money? Like, what are you actually doing on a day to day basis? Like, how have you actually made 8 grand?
Yeah, so the way it works is like when you sign up for a sports book, I'm in California, so we're only limited to the offshore books, but there's still a lot of money to be made there. The offshore books, they give you a bonus. So like if you ever been on the internet and you'll see like pop-ups of Bovada or Bet Online or something, you'll see the
Yeah,
big promo, right? It's like deposit will match you up to $1,000, right? We'll match you 100% up to $1,000. So like
yeah,
for example, a lot of these books have those. So basically it was like, okay, sign up, right? Now the key is to unlock those bonuses. And that's where like the magic kind of happens, right? Because you can't just open and then start gambling like a degenerate. So what you're doing is you're using books against each other to hedge against each other. So essentially, if you're betting one side on, let's say, Bovada, and then you go on Bet Us, you're betting the opposite. So you're not losing any money. You might lose like a smidget, but you're essentially just creating what I call action, right? So you just want action. And then all the books, they have something called rollover because they don't just give you the money, they want to see you play. And because part of their algorithm to you is they're hoping that you're going to be a human degenerate and you're going to keep on.
yeah,
That's
yep,
it's part of the psychology of gambling, right? They want you
yep,
to get in it, chase your money, and say, "Oh, I was so close. That stupid last second three-pointer messed up my bet.
yep.
That's not supposed to happen." Well, it happens every freaking day. So,
Yeah,
um,
all the time. It just seems like you do 3 leg parlays, you always miss by a leg. You do 5 leg parlays. I should have done a 3 leg parlay. I missed by a leg. That's how it goes. So I'm curious. So 8 grand profit, 5 to 6 weeks. How much time have you spent per day on average to get that 8 grand?
yeah.
If you're enjoying the content of the video and want to learn how to make a side income with sports cards, I spent the past 3 months putting together a training to show you exactly how it's done in detail. Sports cards has allowed me to live a life beyond my wildest imagination, and I'm thankful for the hobby every single day. That is the reason I teach sports cards, and I'm so passionate about it. At the end of the training, we offer a paid program where you can work closer with me. However, I do not want you joining until you've watched the training I put together. It will show you exactly what's inside the program and how to make money with sports cards, and from there, you can make an educated decision. If you'd like to sign up for the training, either scan the QR code on the screen or text the word Eric to 973-755-9486, or click the link in the description. Just to repeat it, if you'd like to sign up and watch the training, scan the QR code or text Eric to 973-755-9486, or click that link in the description. Now let's get back to the video.
So I have really good habits. So the amount of time it takes, I kind of segment and put it like schedule it out. So in the morning, I will wake up before my family, spend about 15 to 30 minutes looking at the lines, and I look at the lines on Odds Jam. And then I'll place my bets right in the morning.
Yeah.
And then there'll be some early games. And then after the early games are done, so around like maybe 3-ish, 3 to 4, and I'm on the West Coast, so this is my time. 3 or 4-ish, then some of those games will finish, and then I'll have a new set of games to bet on. And then at around like right before the 7 o'clock games, I'll hop on and see if there's any bets there. But every time it takes about 15, 30 minutes. And if I really go
Okay,
down a
so
rabbit hole, it might take me a little long.
and now this is not arbitrage what you're doing. You're just making these bets to get the rollover.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So then talk to me. Okay, so you're up $8,000. It sounds like you're spending like 30 to 45 minutes a day total. Sounds like.
Ish, yeah, ish. And then
So cool.
if you follow the rabbit hole, sometimes it ends up being like an hour or two. But
Hey, even that, man, like, it's crazy because you're up, call it $8,000 in 5 weeks, right? That's basically a full-time salary. People work, 160 hours in a month to make that, right? You just made that in essentially like what seems like 15 hours or 20 hours. So that's a good return on your time. And then talk to me about the future. So you're up $8,000, right? These bonuses will not last forever, obviously.
yeah.
I know people that do take the bonuses, they do it for themselves and they do it for their wife as well, or their girlfriend, so they double up. But tell me, like, what do you see yourself doing with this stuff in the future? Do you plan on getting into arbitrage, EV betting? Explain what it is. How much can you see yourself making? Tell me that.
Yeah, so I'm in California. There's not a lot of arbitrage opportunities, so EV betting is a way to go. It's a form of gambling though. So I'm still a little skeptical of it. I've
Yeah,
dabbled in the EV betting and I haven't had luck on it, but I understand the
yeah,
concept. I 100% understand the concept. But for the most part, I'm just gonna keep a lot of the books have something called a reload or a re-up, and if I just build a large bankroll in all these books, then I'll just re-up and then also like I'm also keeping my money in the books because it's not going anywhere, right? So
yeah.
um, I'm gonna like I travel a lot, so you know,
Oh, that's good. That's
yeah,
good. When you're in another state, you could take exactly what you're doing and apply it to USA based books. And you haven't signed up for them, I'm assuming, right? So
not
you make a
yet.
crap ton of money.
Yeah, not yet. So I mean, I live in California. Vegas is like second home for us. I have friends who live in Vegas. I do plan on just taking a couple trips over there and just pounding those books and arbitraging. Um, and it's yeah, and the cool thing is like this is something you could do from home online. I was actually out of the country like 2 weeks ago, and I was still doing it.
Really? What country?
I was in Vietnam.
Okay, nice, nice. That's funny. I guess you could use so you're using the offshores in Vietnam. Yeah, it's wild. You've only done the offshore. Once you get to a legal state where you can do the onshore, you'll also make a lot of money. And it's also, from my understanding, it's much easier to get that bonus money because they don't have these big rollovers like FanDuel and DraftKings, all these sports books. But cool. Well, Gene, I'm glad you're making money. Sounds like it's going well. Any pieces of advice, I don't know, for the audience, or anything you say, or anything like you wish you knew 5 or 6 weeks ago when you joined the program that you would say to
Um,
yourself back then?
Yeah, if I could go back 5 weeks, I would say because I started like looking at the arbitrage and the EV and middles, and I was like, oh, I want to hit these. Just focus on the low hold and getting your bonuses and hitting your rollovers. That's like the very first thing I would say. And then for people who are a little bit like more apprehensive on this and are a little bit skeptical, I'm an investor, so like cash doesn't mean much to me. I prefer assets. And I look at this as more of an asset. So like having 5 or 10 grand in cash in the bank, like to me is worthless, right? It loses value every day. So like putting it into the books and getting the bonuses and re-upping, and then also like when I cash out, it goes into my Coinbase into Bitcoin, and you know, the funny thing
Yeah,
is
that could.
you make money there too. So it's like, or I mean, there's potential to make money. So especially lately. So
Yeah.
so
Well,
it's like just do it. I mean, your money doesn't do well in the bank. It's not gonna do shit in the savings, or even if what you get a CD for 6 months at 5%. I mean,
yeah. So like that's what I tell people, man. I'm like, you
yeah,
know, the only way, like so many people like come into this program and they're like, I want to make an extra few grand to, go on more vacations or buy a nicer car, whatever the case may be. And I tell people this, I'm like, hey man, like putting money in savings and trying to save an extra grand a month or 2 grand a month is not doing shit for you. You have to learn a skill that's going to produce predictable money for yourself, like starting a business, right? Like I don't know if you'd call sports betting arbitrage a full on business. That's kind of like a side hustle, side income that makes
yeah,
decent money. That's what I tell people, and especially with the sports betting arbitrage stuff. Like even when I was on the call with you, I remember like I say to people, I'm like, hey, like I'm gonna show you this thing. Like when I do the calls, I say I'm gonna show you this thing. It's gonna sound too good to be true. I promise it's true. I know it's gonna sound crazy.
yeah.
But yeah, you live it and see it. Well, Gene, I appreciate you coming on. I know you're a busy guy. Watch out. People might start messaging you on like Facebook or Discord or wherever saying, hey dude, how'd you do that? Can you help me? So watch out for those messages, but I appreciate